This is Mac OS Ken.
Welcome to the Tough Compares. Garcia Martinez from Gonzo to Gone. And what is a Coen brother to do? It's Thursday, the 13th of May, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Ladder. Smart, dynamic term life insurance. Learn more at ladderlife.com/macosken. This show is also sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. At Upstart, you're more than just a number, which is to say you're more than just your credit score. Upstart takes a holistic view of each applicant. They look at additional factors like income and employment history. Checking your rate doesn't impact your credit score, and the way they work lets Upstart offer smarter rates with trusted partners, so you can pay off credit cards, consolidate high-interest debt, or fund personal expenses. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate upfront for loans between $1,000 to $50,000, and you can receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/macosken. UPSTART. That's upstart.com/macosken. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/macosken. Weak-looking iPhone sales aren't phasing Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani. That is because we are going back outside. Philip Elmer DeWitt's Apple 3.0 ran part of a note Daryanani wrote, wherein he did a bit of extrapolating. He and his think smartphone sales slowed last month, which means a slowdown for iPhone sales as well. Now here's the thing, we are in really tough comparison time. Partly because, well, lots of things. China was coming out of lockdown this time last year while the US and Europe were going or staying in. When China reemerged in 2020, it bought iPhones. Sales were up nearly 50% in April of 2020 versus April of 2019. No one is seeing anything like that for China last month, partly because they've been outside for a year already, and partly because they bought 5G iPhones at unprecedented levels in January and February. Daryanani says sales of iPhone for the first 2 months of this year were up 160% over the first 2 months of 2019. He's comparing the first 2 months of 2021 to the first 2 of 2019 because China spent the first 2 months of 2020 hunkered down. That's still a tough comparison, though, because 5G-enabled iPhone 12s came out later in the cycle than whatever iPhone Apple introduced in the fall of 2018. You know, I feel like I need one of those boards with the thumbtacks and the yarn that you see in the movies, especially if we're going to see this kind of tangled logic for the next year or two, which we're likely to do. Given the stated difficulty, AdRock's found a couple of places to hang his hat. Quoting his note, while April data is somewhat muted, we expect growth to remain strong for Apple in the June quarter and beyond, as the company benefits from a trifecta of 1, iPhone growth in North America, stimulus plus reopening, 2, ecosystem expansion, and 3, monetization of Apple's installed base. It's kind of funny. We're not going to worry about the annual slowdown ahead of whatever phone Apple's going to introduce later this year. Or is it too early for that? Or am I too inside baseball? Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $175. And I need a nap. What rhymes with misfire? Miss-hire probably fits the bill. In the past decade, I can only think of one decidedly bad hire for Apple, at least among the names we know. It was John Browett's 6-month stint as head of Apple Retail. Well, you can forget that one now. Antonio Garcia Martinez has been fired. I told you about his hiring earlier this week. He's the guy who worked in Facebook's advertising arm nearly a decade ago. Earlier this week, his LinkedIn profile showed him as product engineering ads platform at Apple. If it still says that, he just hasn't gotten around to changing it. This story blew up quickly. Wednesday afternoon, The Verge ran a story on a group of Apple employees who had petitioned Apple execs asking them to rethink the hiring of Garcia Martinez. The trouble was not tied to his old employer, but rather a book he wrote called Chaos Monkeys. According to The Verge, the autobiography traces Garcia Martinez going from Wall Street to Silicon Valley. Garcia Martinez has described the book as total Hunter S. Thompson gonzo mode. The employees in the petition view it differently, said The Verge, adding they say it's racist and sexist. Where would they get such an idea? Well, maybe from the part in his autobiography that says, most women in the Bay Area are soft and weak, cosseted and naive despite their claims of worldliness, and generally full of Well, I guess there are some ways to read that as sexist. Bad as that sounds, the full passage actually gets worse, and it's not the only passage in the book with which people took issue. The letter from staff was addressed to Eddie Q and inclusion and diversity champions. Quoting a key paragraph from it, it is concerning that the views Mr. Garcia Martinez expresses in his 2016 book, Chaos Monkeys, were overlooked, or worse, excused during his background check or hiring panel. We demand an investigation into how his published views on women and people of color were missed or ignored, along with a clear plan of action to prevent this from happening again. Browett was a stumble. This guy was a landmine. Not sure whether it blew up or was diffused. Either way, Garcia Martinez is out. Seriously, I wrote most of this story, stopped to make dinner, then came back to this headline, also from The Verge. Misogynistic Apple hire is out hours after employees call for investigation. Please allow me to share 2 paragraphs from this story. Shortly after the petition began circulating internally at Apple, Martinez's Slack account was deactivated. The ad platforms team was called into an emergency meeting where it was confirmed Martinez would no longer be working at the company. In a statement emailed to The Verge, an Apple spokesperson said, "At Apple, we have always strived to create an inclusive, welcoming workplace where everyone is respected and accepted. Behavior that demeans or discriminates against people for who they are has no place here." In the really recent aftermath, some people have wondered how it is that he was hired in the first place. I mean, these weren't secret meetings he attended. He literally wrote the book. One imagines it will be looked into internally. In the meantime, his employment chapter is closed. Remember the story from earlier this week about Apple and forced labor? That was the one from The Information that said 7 companies in Apple's supply chain are believed to use forced labor. Highlighted or lowlighted was Advanced Connect Tech, which is said to have run a factory staffed by detainees in Xinjiang, a region of Western China populated by a predominantly Muslim group known as Uyghurs. I bring it up again because it's caught the attention of at least one lawmaker on Capitol Hill. Apple Insider says U.S. Representative Ken Buck, Republican of Colorado, has written to Apple CEO Tim Cook looking for answers on this issue. I mean, besides the answer Apple gave earlier this week, that looking for the presence of forced labor as part of every assessment it conducts in every country where it does business, and so on. While applauding Cook for cutting ties with firms found to have used forced labor in the past, Buck has questions about all 7 of the companies mentioned by The Information. According to Apple Insider, Buck in the letter asked Cook to clarify Apple's relationship with each company listed in Monday's report and provide documentation relating to internal investigations into forced labor or human rights abuses connected to said firms. Also requested is a thorough description of the process Apple undertakes to ensure suppliers are not exploiting workers. Buck also wants to know how Apple intends to keep human rights-related malfeasance out of its supply chain. The representative has given the CEO until the 15th of June to send a response. AirTag Talk Plus, Apple TV Plus in a moment. But first, a word from Ladder. Smart, dynamic term life insurance. You've got a lot of plans for your family's future. College, weddings, lots of stuff ahead. I hate to ask, but what happens if you're not there to pull it off? I know, it's a horrible thing to worry about. But that's why people get life insurance, to eliminate that worry. If you're thinking about it, choose Ladder. Term coverage is surprisingly affordable, letting you pay a bit each month to protect the people you love. Ladder's smart algorithms work in real time, so you'll find out instantly if you're approved. Seriously, the initial questions take less time than you'll spend listening to today's show. With Ladder, there are no hidden fees. You can cancel at any time. And if you need help, each member of Ladder's support team is a licensed life insurance agent who doesn't work on commission. They're simply there to help. So check out Ladder today to see if you're instantly approved. Go to ladderlife.com/macOSKen. That's LADDER, ladderlife.com/macOSKen, ladderlife.com/macOSKen. There is something fun about the tinkering people are doing with AirTag. Here's hoping it stays just that. Fun. Apple Insider raises the specter of such tinkering leading to something nefarious down the road, but that's down the road. For now, the site says, security researchers investigating the Find My network used by Apple's AirTag have been able to piggyback on the system to send data that Apple can neither monitor nor apparently prevent. Fun? Well, it's not easy, according to Apple Insider, and it doesn't mean AirTag is prone to malware, so, okay, fun. However, the piece says, it is reportedly possible for the Find My network to be subverted to send encoded messages between devices, albeit very short messages. We're still on the fun side of the fun, not fun spectrum, though Positive Security, the Berlin-based IT security firm that found the thing, works us up to a sinister-sounding possibility. Apple Insider has the firm indicating it's possible to upload arbitrary data from non-internet connected devices by sending Find My style broadcasts. These are then picked up by Apple devices in just the way that a lost AirTag uses passing iPhones to report its location. One of the firm's researchers says since the finding devices cache received broadcasts until they have an internet connection, the sensors can even send out data from areas without mobile coverage as long as people pass the area. The researcher goes on to suggest that this could be used to exfiltrate data from certain air-gapped systems or Faraday-caged rooms. Devices within such spaces might be insulated from the internet, but they could conceivably pass data to an iPhone belonging to a visitor walking by. This really, truly, seriously doesn't sound like anything anyone is or should be worried about right now. But the tinkering people are doing. It's like Apple is selling device trackers that double as hobby kits. The COVID watch seems to be better for Michiganders, if Apple retail is any barometer. 9 to 5 Mac's Michael Stieber took to Twitter last night, saying all Michigan Apple stores open tomorrow morning, which of course means this morning. That was sudden, Stieber continues. It looks like there'll be express storefronts again for now. Not walk in and browse around time. Still, it is better than literally nothing. You can look around another city without going to that city. iDownload blog says Apple Maps has turned on its look around feature for Atlanta, Georgia. If you're unclear what Lookaround is, the piece explains with Lookaround, Apple Maps users can get a street-level view of a specific location. It's basically Apple's answer to Google Maps' popular Street View. And if you're unclear what Street View is, it's a lot like Lookaround in Apple Maps. Atlanta is Apple's 14th Lookaround location, according to the report. Apple TV Plus is getting another fascinating-sounding movie. Mac Rumors says Apple's premium video service is teaming up with A24 for The Tragedy of Macbeth, a drama that's set to star Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand. The Tragedy of Macbeth is directed by Joel Coen and is based on Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Why do I say this sounds fascinating? Well, there are a few reasons. First, I like Shakespeare. Second, I like Denzel Washington. Third, I like Frances McDormand. And fourth, this is Joel Coen's first film. I mean, not really. He's directed such films as The Big Lebowski, No Country for Old Men, Fargo, and just so many more. But he did all of those with his brother Ethan. It's the first film that's directed by just one Coen brother, according to the report. Fascinating through and through. The Tragedy of Macbeth will be released in theaters later this year, according to the report. That's ahead of a launch on Apple TV+. And finally today, news of a new Apple TV Plus trailer 48 hours ahead of the show it promos. iDownload blog says the Cupertino streamer released a trailer for the second season of Trying on Wednesday, with the second season starting on Friday. Apple says a decent amount about Season 2 in the trailer's description. Again, though, I don't want to tell you anything because spoilers. Suffice to say, they're still trying. With the show already slated for a third season, Season 2 premieres tomorrow, Friday, the 14th of May. If you just can't wait, you can catch the trailer now on YouTube. Coming up in a few minutes, Rob Walsh is building a studio around the new 12.9-inch M1-powered iPad Pro. Hear what he's planning and why. The show is called In a Few Minutes. You can find that and listen to it wherever you find and listen to podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Ladder, smart, dynamic term life insurance. Learn more at ladderlife.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.